Honorable Chair, I've not had the time to look at what actually transpired in those areas. Because as I said, because I'm on leave, I've stopped thinking about what is happening in the police service, pursuing my own agenda somewhere.
So, when Chief Nabu appeared before us, he told this committee that one of your issues or apprehension was the fact that if certain measures were not put in place, what happened in Asenov will befall the party. True or false?
Honorable Chair, that's a total lie. Because we had the meeting before Asenov, so how could I have referred to what happened in Asenov?
Very well.
Let me see.
So he was.
A witness must testify in truth. Don't lie, even on the oath. So why you say something that is factually wrong, it's a lie. Because as a matter of fact, when the president came to disprove it, you didn't come back to to counter him on any other figure. Which means you're coming in a what do you think? Their own pinches and one say one bomb and say one more pinch, one give the pinches go court. It was one of the worst documents that you can ever find. At some point, they have to withdraw about 700 of more pink sheets from the court because they are not going to rely on it again. Pink sheets will contempt announcement of KPMG back. Trial system. And one more thing, the number of pieces are work and which of them are even valid for the court to be rely on. They were citing 11,000 through Bawumia. Yet when KPMG came to do their auditing, they cited about 8,000 and they're valid and issue. Also, we a good witness and I was sacrificing political career. Where is sacrifice now? The same person again in the witness box or say MPP no, say there were 22 unknown police stations in this country. Now, some police stations were unknown to the MPP and everything. So far that the electoral system was concerned. And the man the pink sheet back, me I'm saying that you got a man pink sheet back. Said the pink sheet is not there. And I said, Bobo, a dear was so tremble. A agency near was so. Ya, Papa now, but terrible agency near what pink sheet in the so. Or boy, and you beside said, a dinner boy, a people more where MPP near was an was signing yet was an. Then to put me the agent to control police woman could vote to brew. And was I never could grab a track or to catch the court said it was unknown to you. Do you understand the word unknown? Do you understand the word unknown? A way such a bad witness is saying, so not sacrificing in the political career. You're not even ashamed to say this. When you're going to mess up your own case, go and read the judgment on that particular matter. 22 unknown police stations. The entire 7 judges ruled against you. The entire 7 because they can't be anything correct. And when upon having flop and mess up like this, we now bonds and say, "Oh, sacrifice political career, but now witness was good intro." Go to Pona, where no man can cast me and so much why. This were your stories.
Currencies depreciate when the fundamentals are wrong.
Right.
And the mismanagement of this economy in terms of the fundamentals is what was driving the depreciation of the currency. You can't be running double-digit deficits, double-digit current account and fiscal deficits, borrowing to this extent, financing your deficit with huge printing of money from the central bank, right, and expect your currency to be stable. The fundamentals will not support it.
Right.
They will not support
for a bailout. Well, the president says it's policy credibility, not a bailout. What should go in there? Because along the line with your predictions and the lectures you gave, you said that if things don't go well, that is where we might have to go. If we're going for a bailout, what are we asking for?
Well, I think I did make the point, I think, in my last major lecture in Ghana, that if the government doesn't take certain decisions, we will end up with a request for a bailout from the IMF, and this is exactly what has happened. Mismanagement has consequences. Bad policies have consequences, and Ghana is going to
around saying that our manifesto promises are going to ruin the economy. I'm just so baffled. You, a president, you have presided in 8 years over the collapse of our economy. If you knew the plan that could work for the economy and be successful, why haven't you implemented that plan in 8 years? Why? If you know what can work for our economy, why is the economy collapsing in your hands after 8 years? You clearly do not understand the economic plans and underpinning the MPP manifesto. So your task is to make our economy work. You cannot do it, and now you want to say the MPP plan cannot work. You have essentially no legs to stand on in saying the MPP plan cannot work, because your own plan has collapsed the economy, and we are bringing a new plan for the economy, and a new plan that will work. It will work. We reduced taxes during our tenure of office. Corporate taxes were brought down from 32% to 25%, and at the same time we saw a major increase in tax revenue.
Dr. Baumia Sano. Yes, sir. Because Omunyina nimse Nibejinawa Member Omu showdown.
2024 election now, Yoko. MPP lost that election in 2022. I repeat, election now, Yoko 2024. MPP 4, we lost the election in 2022. Why? And when I see the all the way to tomato seller, Esikashi Yano, Ghana 4 for one. And my middle class 4 upper points. Abu Musikashi, Yabiko 15 years, Oma from one. And my pension for Esikashi, Oma from one. And the time here, or my new bed now, Ghana for you, Oma Genesis among Casaro, no Oma from one. The reaction to issues, and it will be a corrupt. Okay. If Canada Japan is not corrupt, no be to me the Ghana Sika aye Juma. Okay. I'm when ye Juma ni obia ofa Ghana Sika e de koto to adan e de gogua brochiri wan e na wo say otu abaman. Okay. You see, I was a way in your mom you know. Yes, so Canada Japan the temperament Canada Japan or you say onipa na okasa ono so say nwati. Okay. Obeye nwa na wo hia Ghana Sika. Obeye nwa wo de hwe wo mu. Nipa bi a ekọ afiefie mu eto nsam egu delegate mu animase. Delegate fo no embisa se emra sankofo no menya position no wo masetena mu tese. Okay. Eni enne o matena so mfianso ekọ mfianwotwe. No reshuffle, nothing. I'm when your opportunities. What
is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. But people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Wednesday, the 20th day of September 2023. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of this show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the very privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Turning economy around, cut down on expenditure. Speakers urge government at graphic business. Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. Consortium commits $10 million to lithium drilling. 80% prostate cancer patients report late for treatment. Don't impede work of EC and judiciary. SKB Asante tells politicians. Ghanaian Times. Towards operational transformation, Lands Commission targets $85 million. Investment for improved land administration services. ECOWAS urged to apply tougher sanctions to stop illicit arms proliferation. 10 million euros project to tackle food security in northern region launched. NAM1 denies defrauding customers of 1.6 billion cedis. Daily Guide. I won't throw mud at opponents, says Baumia. NAM1 gets 500 million cedis bail. Adjua Safo cools down Kwabenya constituents with fan yogurt. 3 Ghanaians arrested over Russian Wagner activities. Why OSPC Cecilia Dape's assets again? The New Crusading Guide. NPP flag bearer race. Why I don't attack my opponents? Baumia explains, says it will be toxic and unproductive. Men's Gold Saga. CEO NAM1 granted 500 million cedis bail. Gomuafete Amanonihima urges youth to avoid early relationships. Bank of Ghana wins Alliance for Financial Inclusion Institutional Leadership Award. 2023 GFA elections. Georgia Freer goes to Court of Arbitration. I will support whoever wins November 4, Dr. Akoto assures. The Insight. Founders Day. Socialist Movement Ghana to celebrate Nkrumah's 114th birthday with street carnival. Professor Pokwajima commiserates with victims of CMB market fire. Fix the Country movement calls for change amid economic hardships. Pan-African Parliament at war with itself. Importers and Exporters Association calls on government to abolish new veterinary import levy at port. The Informer. After denying informer story, Julius Debra lobbies through backdoor for NDC running mate slot. The man has issued a statement. Yeah? Why don't you guys want to go by a statement? Anyway, I blame those who think they love him more than himself and are doing all those things. Meeting net zero target. Redeem your pledge. NAPO urges developed countries. Limited registration exercise will enfranchise Ghanaians, EC assures. Politicians running down Ghana's health system. Expert. Towards strengthening democratic governance, government must be accountable. CDD. Commentary. Mosquito and Fifi jet out for Agenda 2028 mission. The Herald. Ghana Gas Board Chair bullies CEO into submission, deploys insults and threats. Special prosecutor unscrews ex-minister's top secrets. Ghost name, payments from dead brother and others. Kumasi accepts Game Park's pick one with enthusiasm. Baumia expresses disdain for dirty politics. The Daily Statesman. No need for insults. Baumia insists on contest of ideas in MPP primaries. Global South edge to address technological deficit. Tech erupts Ghana's mining space with Photonase lab launch. Dr. Akoto pledges to support whoever becomes NPP flag bearer. APN AI host maiden Global Africa Forum tomorrow. The Ghanaian Publisher. Ideas win elections, not insults. Baumia's subtle reply to Kenneth Japon. Building a successful brand through organizational culture. Voter registration will go beyond district offices in 2024. EC. ISE warns government over high interest loans. The Custodian. I don't attack my opponents. It's a contest of ideas, not insults. Baumia. Photon Assay Lab to provide accurate valuation of minerals. Duka. SMEs manufacturing cocoa products. Lord government plan to supply them beans. Apia Kubi to contest Efija Kwabre South NPP parliamentary primaries. Private investor to inject $85 million into Lands Commission's operations. I'll support whoever wins November 4, Dr. Akoto. The Finder. Attacks on opponents inimical to NPP. It's a contest of ideas, not insults. Dr. Baumia. Private investor to inject $85 million into Lands Commission's operations. Photon Assay Lab to ensure accurate valuation of minerals. Duka. I will support whoever wins November 4, Dr. Akoto. Apia Kubi to contest Efija Kwabre South NPP parliamentary primaries. Daily Post. Minority Chief Whip warns EC Chair Jean Mensah. Being Fulani or Hausa does not disqualify one from being a Ghanaian. Mahama. Bank account of Cecilia Dape's dead brother still sending her money. OSP tells court. But isn't there life after death? There's life after death. Why are you surprised?
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Ready for something refreshing and great tasting? For your kids' enjoyment? Angel Cola! For your graduation enjoyment? Angel Cola! Beach hangout? Angel Cola! For all your refreshing moments? Angel Cola! For your parties, get-togethers, events, and celebrations, enjoy a chilled bottle of Angel Cola. Radio Grandma, today is your day. Over to you.
Thank you. Enjoyment Cola.
Angel Cola.
The Enjoyment Cola. Enjoy all your moments and fun time with Angel Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model, securing your safety, creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Ready for something refreshing and great tasting? For your kids' enjoyment? Angel Cola! For your graduation enjoyment? Angel Cola! Beach hangout? Angel Cola! For all your refreshing moments? Angel Cola! For your parties, get-togethers, events, and celebrations, enjoy a chilled bottle of Angel Cola. Radio Grandma, today is your day. Over to you.
Thank you. Enjoyment Cola.
Angel Cola. The Enjoyment Cola. Enjoy all your moments and fun time with Angel Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatments like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the He.
My son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you and couple the makers in
The pneumatological abrasion of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. I'm up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Ewo Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasa Mainzongo Junction. At the K Pharmacy Dining. Or Yer Fateman Boga Junction.
Junction, Ashaman, Falco Flat, Kumasi, Ahinema Kokoben, Asafubuachi Hospital Junction. Takradi, Kuma, number 9 market.
Show and tell mom and dad about the Maker's Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
Masanabo, Masanaba. They say, you see, you call cashless. They get cashless here. They say, you can be a wish office. You see the power up or back. And also, another your BBR. Set up auto credit. Set up auto credit and no one issue. So, what problem be a person using for after he answer over power up. So, and one on the 2 assembly up. So, only smartphone and money how. And there's only data and so and it's new will be. And one said, who may know young phone. Oh, sorry. Who may know phone. No one direct *226# you are through there. You see the power up no mobile money, Visa card, Mastercard, a BHP you let me see you see the power up. But what to show a down some simple
Inside Black Star Press Limited, grow inside the invective minds, evolving concepts and the creative trends. The printing press you need now. Witness the beauty, diversity, and natural wonder with our works. Inside Black Star Press Limited, in association with Lionhead Group of Companies. Call us now on 0200-880-000 for all your print works. Black Star Press Limited, a worldwide reputation for quality printing.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning is Eric Amwakuchum, who's a government spokesperson. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Right, we're expecting the Director Special Duties, Deputy Director Special Duties NDC, Broja Jemfi, to join us here on the show. But before we get on with the discussion, just to remind you that we are in the Momo season. Momo season. How does it feel like getting rewarded for something that you do anyway? Something that you do anyway. Something that you do daily. Something that you love doing. Something that you must do at all costs. And yet you get rewarded. That's the Momo season from MTN. And there's something for everyone in this Momo season. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transactions to a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 Ghana cedis and other amazing prizes weekly. Our merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay and more points and win big this Momo season. Visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh, momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And if you're thinking about boosting your career with MSc degrees from KNUST, well, you can do so. also with the Accra Business School. You can choose from human resource management, communication, international marketing, international relations, public affairs, or IT management. In just 12 months, the MBA can be yours. So at Accra Business School, you can also get into their BSc programs in IT security and cybercrime, IT management and business management endorsed by top universities in Ireland and Wales. They offer flexible entry payment and learning options convenient to you. It's time to unlock your potential and take position. Visit www.abs.edu.gh or call 0263 888 555 or 0263 888 666 or visit the Accra Business School on the Spintex Road, Christ Square. Let Accra Business School elevate your future today. And we'll all get there. We'll all get there. And here I'm talking about aging. By the grace of God, we'll all grow, we will age. And of course, we know what happens sometimes with aging and physical infirmities, especially when you have to use the stairway. It becomes challenging day in, day out. But worry no more. Because with the portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you're sure of unlimited enjoyment of those mansions and homes that you've labored to put up. And this is a simple to use self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with a wheelchair accessibility option. You may call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home or office. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days with modifications to your building. So visit Lifts and Elevators Ghana at Sakumono for your solutions and free consultations. You can also reach Lift and Elevators Ghana on 0200-535-515, or you can email at elevatorsgh@gmail.com. Well, I'm sure that the kids have left home for school this morning, but you know that brushing your kids' teeth sometimes becomes difficult due to resistance because of the taste of the toothpaste available to them. So I'm recommending to you Kel Kids toothpaste flavored with strawberry that gives a perfect taste for kids and makes them develop a personal attitude and love of brushing their teeth always. Kel Kids toothpaste protects child's gum, prevents cavity, and makes the teeth strong and healthy with freshness all day. Kel Kids toothpaste is recommended for children between the ages of 2 and 6. This is a product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel Kids, happy smile. And what does wealth mean to you? You want to live like a tycoon? Remember who's got a molar, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on their website, www.gameparkgames.com, or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play the game and make some mola. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mola, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority and is not for persons under the age of 18. Play responsibly. Right. Okay. Eric, let's start off with a limited registration exercise. I'm sure that you've been monitoring. I don't know if you've been able to go to your constituency, but I'm sure that you would have monitored in many parts of Accra as well. The Electoral Commission has spoken about all the issues that have been raised. We've also had some counter to that as well. I've just seen a story this morning, and okay, it's attributed to Dr. Sribo Kwaku. It says limited voters registration. Those in hard-to-reach areas can wait for next year. And the Electoral Commission has explained that eligible voters who are unable to register in the Commission's district offices nationwide will have to do so next year. And he said this on Asempa FM's Akosi Sen. He noted that from next year, the EC will have special arrangements for hard-to-reach areas once it receives the legal backing of Parliament for its constitutional instrument. According to him, the Commission will also carry out a continuous registration process in its offices that will serve would-be voters at any given time. Says for those in hard-to-reach areas, we are only appealing to them to find a way to get to the district offices for the registration. Otherwise, they would have to wait for next year. But even next year, we can't be everywhere. It will depend on situations on the ground in terms of figures. Because we won't say that because we have to serve hard-to-reach areas, we'll send our tools to just 3 people in a particular area. So we'll work with the stakeholders to be sure that a place is indeed hard to reach and that we have people there before we move. That will be a form of mopping up because we are still going to maintain the district office registration and there will be continuous registration. Okay.
Well, I mean, good morning to you once again. Good morning to the viewers of Metro this morning. The issue with these registration, for me, I think that is one of the things that at a certain point we would have to agree on the best way or the modalities that they should take. I know for a fact that the EC Act itself allows for continuous registration. And over time, I think that even most of the major political parties, depending on if you are in government or you're in opposition, decide that they don't want to actually support the Electoral Commission when it comes to the continuous registration. Because in other jurisdictions, in terms of best practice, immediately you turn 18 or the legal voting age, you get on the roll automatically. In our case, party agents actually are supposed to be at the polling registration centers, actually taking details of persons that are being registered just to ascertain if these persons are actually supposed to be on the roll or not. I think when I was coming, I was listening to radio and there's this thing about in one of the regions, there are about 400 or so protests against persons that are actually trying to go on the register by dint of the fact that people feel that these persons are not eligible to register or to be on the roll. But we can't continue having this conversation year in, year out, and almost as if we don't find solutions just because when it's expedient to us, we don't want to accept that the Electoral Commission is an independent body and is mandated to undertake these registration exercises on a rolling basis. Of course, in any public sector execution, you would have certain instances where, like the EC director was saying, hard to reach areas. But even in that case, I don't see how or why we shouldn't find solutions to make sure that persons that genuinely are unable to make their way to any of these registration centers by dint of the fact that it's their right and it's also a civic responsibility to cast your vote, should be given an opportunity to get on the roll. You know, so we have the advent of technology. Now we have a situation where we have a national identification card. Is it the case that as we go along, we find a way of subsuming all of these data that we collect into one proper repository so that we don't have to go through these challenges of every few years or so we have to do either limited registration exercises or even run down to election, we have to go into a major registration exercise. I think that as a country, especially when it comes to the political ecosystem, we need to agree on the way forward. You know, otherwise, every few years, we'll be having the same conversations as to what the director said in respect to if people are unable to register, they can get an opportunity next year. I think that those are some of the things that the EC can clarify a lot more and tell us, even in terms of its ongoing registration, what modalities they are putting in place to make it easier for people to register.
You see, yesterday I made this point, and I don't know why, but you know, I don't like getting angry. I don't think it's good for a person's health or anything. But I keep making the point that I can't stand it when people who are supposed to provide a public service, they earn a living from that, they appear to talk down on the citizenry and speak as if they are doing somebody a favor. A Ghanaian has the right to be registered once he turns 18. It's a constitutional right. The Constitution has created a vehicle to facilitate this, which is the Electoral Commission. You have been employed to do same. By the law, you should have done one for those who turned 18 or were not on the roster in 2020, in 2021. It didn't happen. 2022, it didn't happen. In 2023, you have decided that you're going to do it at 268. When in 2019, in your limited exercise, where even your target was lower than this, you did it at 1,500 places. And then, when people talk about difficult to reach areas and people who might not be able to get on the roll and all that, you say that, oh, don't worry, next year. So, those who turned 18 from 2021 or were not on the roll for whichever reason in 2020 and were expecting to be there 2021, they couldn't. 2022, they couldn't because you did not give them the opportunity. There have been by-elections. They have not been able to exercise their franchise. There's a district level election coming up. We do not know if there will be any other elections before this registration that you're talking about. Is this what you tell them?
Randy, that's why I made...
Nobody asked you, no law said that go and do a budget. That is just for district offices. Nobody. You decided, even when you did not have a CI to back restriction to district offices. You sat in your office and decided that this is what you intend doing, so you do a budget exclusively for this. And now you turn around, you don't have a CI that even backs what you're doing. And you turn around now and you say that, oh, don't worry, next year you have the opportunity to register. Are you doing anybody a favor?
Randy, that's why I made the point that this is not the first time these issues, surrounding the Electoral Commission. Anytime there's an Electoral Commissioner, depending on where you sit, people would prefer views. Some would say that, well, we should allow the EC to be independent when they are in power. When they're in opposition, they say that the EC is being corrupted or there's a certain connivance with the ruling government. And there are a plethora of examples like that. But I believe strongly that we need to be able to situate this thing in a proper context. Is it a case that we have to agree that there has to be a proper structure? And we need to be able to say that at every point in time during the year or every electoral cycle, these are the processes that we have to go through when it comes to this limited registration. Is it also the case that we have to agree that political parties have no business trying to figure out how on a daily basis persons would go to get onto the roll? Because that's not what happens in proper jurisdictions. Now, if you, for one reason or the other, you get an opportunity to scrutinize the electoral roll and you feel that there are certain individuals on the roll that are not supposed to be on the roll, then you have to activate the right processes to get them off the roll. But this whole mistrust, and that is the reality, that's the point. This whole mistrust that you cannot just wake up on the day that you turn 18 and go to a district office or wherever to actually have your name put in the roll. It's where the challenge is, Randy. Because at the end of the day, if you can do that, like it happens in other jurisdictions, then we don't have to be waiting and getting into a situation where you have logistical challenges, you have issues to do with numbers, you have issues to do with people traveling and all that, because these persons are doing it at their convenience. But when, in the same breath, we want to extend and democratize this process, yet the same political parties or the same stakeholders would put impediments in the way of the same people that they are claiming to be fighting for. I have a challenge with that. We can have this conversation devoid of political affiliations and all of those things, because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, for example, The EC says that it's registered close to 183,000 people in the last 6 days. You understand? Now, if it's been able to do that in the last 6 days, can you imagine that if they had a rolling registration process, then you don't have to have all these numbers coming onto the roll at a go, and you'll be able to manage it properly. I feel that persons who are also making this argument that if people are in remote areas, necessarily the EC has done something wrong. I beg to differ in a certain sense that even though there's a certain responsibility from the Electoral Commission to provide accessibility to this thing, when it comes to these things, as a citizen, you also have a certain responsibility to avail yourself to get to these places. But I also believe that, for example, in very remote areas, people with disability, people, maybe nursing mothers and all of those things, should be given an opportunity using probably the advent of technology or something else to get them on the roll. But that would require, right, the confidence and acceptance of all the various stakeholders. For example, as we speak, a major opposition party has even refused to engage at the IPAC level by virtue of the fact that they feel that certain things have happened or they are not very happy with certain considerations. And so even if you want to have a proper consensus on the way forward as a democracy, I mean, we've been doing this over the last 30 years or so, that is it a case that every few years or every election cycle we have to go through this whole conversation around Electoral Commission? I recall in 2016, former President Mahama making the point of the EC should be allowed to do its work, where it's meant to be an independent, whatever. In today's conversation, it's 10. When the NPP were in opposition, we had the same conversations. But the point is that we can't continue, I mean, shifting the goalposts and taking expedient positions when we are in opposition, we're in government. We need to have that proper conversation with the Electoral Commission and even as Parliament to set up the right processes, which is probably set in stone, and say that every district office should have a walk-in system for persons who turn 18 to register. After every 2 or 3 weeks, those persons who have gotten their names onto the roll should be made available to the various political parties to scrutinize. If you have challenges with persons who have gotten on the roll, you activate a process to investigate that. And if they are not eligible to be on there, you do that.
Until then, until what you're talking about, which I don't disagree with, until then, things have been done in a particular way. We've always called for an improvement. We've always called for an improvement. Now, for the life of me, I mean, I will not understand why in opening up, in opening up the space for involvement, would rather be putting impediments in the way of people. I mean, you mentioned the NDC and the IPAC issues and all that. Now, a lot of people have called on the NDC to go back, even including some of their members. But look at what has just happened with this particular exercise we are talking about. The political parties who have remained in IPAC, who are in IPAC, were the first to hold a press conference when the EC announced this, to say that the EC engaged us and they told us that is what they intended doing. We said no, it's not right. We can't have it this way, it must be this, that. They said they were going to get back to us. The next we heard, they had announced that they were going to start the process. If the EC acts this way, plus many other things that people might want to speak about, it only goes to perhaps strengthen the position of a party that says that I won't be there. Because what's the point in being there? What's the point in you engaging me? You telling me what your program is? We giving you a counter, what we think you should do on the basis of what has been done over the years. You promising that you're going to get back to us on the issues. And the next thing we hear is that you have announced it and you're going ahead with it. So what's the point in being part of that process and sitting there and engaging you? To what end? And it is something that has now led these parties to go to court.
Well, Randy, that's what I'm saying. That I mean, because there's a certain history of this conversation where I'm sure if we go back and play some of our videos in times past, we probably would have made the same remarks. And I feel that, is it a case that we don't want to find solutions to some of these challenges, right? For example, if we have the national identification card and it's properly utilized, right? And a person has an NIA card and that person has gone through a process where their biometric data has been captured and all of those things. Why is it that, I mean, we can't find a system that would actually plug into the EC system and automatically this person will come onto the roll? You know what I'm saying? I mean, even in very, I'll call it advanced democracies, you know what they do. I mean, I have an example where you move into a new address in the UK, for example, right? And then before you know, electoral from the Electoral Commission actually comes in through your door to fill a form and put it back into the post and say, this is my address, this is my date of birth, this is where I live. And then automatically, after a couple of weeks, you're actually on the roll. You understand what I'm saying? Without you even going through any process of standing in a queue and everything. And on election day, once you go there and you have an ID, most people would actually just walk to the polling center, even without an ID. Once they find their name in the roll, they cast a vote, right? And I'm saying that whilst we have peculiar challenges as a democracy, the biggest challenge here is that we actually have mistrust for the process, for the Electoral Commission itself. And if you make the call that, I mean, in terms of engagement and in terms of dialogue, the Electoral Commission should be a bit more accommodating of divergent views, I will not argue.
For me, it's not even about accommodating. If you believe that there is no basis in what they are saying and that what you want to do is right, tell them and give them reasons why. But you do not create the impression as if we are an important stakeholder. You come to us and tell us that this is what you want to do. We analyze what you want to do. We say, oh no, these are the reasons why we think that it must be done differently and everything. It's okay, you've heard us, you'll get back to us. And the next thing we hear is that you have made an announcement that you're going ahead with the thing. I mean, it is not an issue of disagreement. It's simply an issue of confirming that indeed you're just there for us to inform you. We will do what we want to do anyway. In that case, why do I want to go and waste my time?
Well, I mean, that's why, I mean, I think in certain circles, some persons have actually called for a certain, if you like, a formalization of the IPAC process in terms of, because as we speak, IPAC itself is actually just meant to be an advisory entity that it meets to deliberate on issues and all of those things. If that's the way to go, so be it. Let's do that, right? But you know, sometimes before an election, there's all these tensions and all of those things, and people heighten the stakes to a certain point where even things that are not supposed to be challenges become challenges. And I feel that for the want of a better word, we can't just continue doing the same thing over and over again and then expect different results, right? And in any case, even those political parties who are talking about the fact that in 2021 there was no registration, in 2022 there was no registration and everything. But the same persons who were even saying that because of COVID, registration exercises should not be undertaken. You understand what I'm saying? And the EC, even in the midst of the COVID pandemic and all the restrictions that were prevailing at the time, were able to actually go through the process and all that. So if there are certain, if like negativity or certain things that the EC does that people disagree with and feel that it can actually be bettered, by all means let's have that conversation. But this whole narrative that at every point in time there has to be a certain negative perception about the Electoral Commission and that the Electoral Commission is in connivance with one political party or the other and is doing, because even for us as a political party, as an MPP, we have to also face the same challenges that other persons are facing. People who are interested in the electoral process at the local level, community level, are engaging their constituents, are getting people to go to the various registration centers and enabling that and facilitating same so that they will be able to do that, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to be able to galvanize and marshal your support even at the base for you to do that. So it's not in anybody's interest, if you ask me, that we will go in connivance with the Electoral Commission to stifle the persons who come onto the roll. And because some of these pronouncements have been made, and I'm thinking, how would that even inure to the benefit of any political party? So for especially the two major political parties, we need to be able to be candid ourselves and say that some of our actions and inactions have actually contributed to the challenges that we are facing today. The mistrust, and then the double speak, right? So if there's double speak on one end where you are in opposition, everything that the EC does is not a good thing. When you're in government, then government spokespersons or people who speak for the party in government are seen to be almost pseudo spokespersons and are doing PR for the Electoral Commission. I don't think that is right. It doesn't augur well for the political engagement and the discourse. If the EC is an independent entity, let's by all means treat it as that. But of course, they should also have that at the back of their mind that as independent as they are, they have a responsibility to the people of this country and by extension, the various political stakeholders, and so that it would inure to the advantage of the Ghanaian people.
And welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
And good morning to my brother.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a while.
I know, I'm right away from
Doc, the Electoral Commission's conduct is becoming unbecoming. And I think that all stakeholders, the MPP seems to be cool with whatever is going on. And that is what is generating the suspicions. Look, it's clear that Article 45 gives the Electoral Commission the mandate to compile the register. And so they work in accordance with that constitutional provision. But they don't do that in a vacuum. The law mandates the Electoral Commission to come up with a regulation which will regulate their mandate in terms of registration, in terms of the conduct of elections. And so whatever they do must be allowed by law. You know, I watched the presser by Jane Mensah, where she admits that Article 42 gives the right to vote and that persons have the right to register and to vote. But he fails to recognize that right in terms of his explanation that Article 45 gives her the mandate to do the registration. But in doing that registration, you are supposed to be guided by the rules. What are the rules? The current rules that governs registration in this country. That is CI 91, as amended by 126. Clearly, the rule states, if you check section 2, from there you see how the Electoral Commission must conduct the registration. It talks about the suitability of a registration center to be used as a voting center on election day. That was not addressed by Jane Mensah because she knows that what she's doing currently flouts Regulation 2 of CI 91. Secondly, it states that in choosing a place or a center for registration, the Electoral Commission must consider how accessible that place is to potential registrants. And she failed to address that issue too. So clearly what they are doing is against the laws of this country. It defeats the purpose of Article 42, which gives the right to vote to every citizen of 18 of sound mind and is a citizen of Ghana. And so I have been thinking that what would the Electoral Commission lose if more persons register onto the electoral roll? What do they lose? Are they interested in any election? Do they have a vested interest in the 2024 elections such that they do not want to see a good number of persons register and vote against them? Are they putting themselves up for any election? If you follow what she said at the present.
Comments of some of her colleagues suggest that their interest is in the sanctity of the register. I'm sure that you heard Dr. Bosmasari speak about the district office. I mean, having a district office will help them dealing with issues of foreigners and all that.
Look, I mean, these are very low points that if you don't take care, how you describe it may be very offensive. Because, I mean, are they saying that their district offices are so obscure that foreigners cannot have access to the district offices? In fact, it is not the Electoral Commission's current duty to ensure that the electoral roll is protected from foreigners and persons of underage. There are inbuilt systems regulated by the laws of this country to prevent foreigners and to prevent persons who are underage from getting onto the electoral roll. There's a challenge system. If you are not a Ghanaian and anybody has that suspicion that you are not a Ghanaian, the person can challenge you at the time of registering. If you are not of age, as in if you are not 18 years and above, you can be challenged when you appear to register. And so these unreasonable explanations will not save them. It will not save them. But look, if you follow, as I wanted to build a point on that, on the Electoral Commission's press conference 2 days ago, you'd realize that they simply set out to disenfranchise a lot of Ghanaians. And they themselves clearly pointed that out, if they did not notice it. Because you say that the Ghana Statistical Service projects that the population growth is about 2.4 or so %. And so you project that annually there should be about 400,000 or so persons who will turn 18. And so per your own calculation, WAP calculation in your office, you think that from 2020 September to September of 2023, there are 3 streams of persons who have turned 18. And so by your own calculation, you are expecting to register about 1.3 million. But you target to register only 52% of the registrable population according to your own data that you assess from the Ghana Statistical Service. What is the motive?
Is it also not because they are taking into account the historical numbers?
No,
that you, on the average, you probably register between 50 and 55% of the registrable population. So although the Statistical Service, the data shows that there could be about 1.3, if we are doing about 52%, then obviously we are looking at a figure less than the 1.3, about half of that.
Look, the last time you displayed some statistics, some data from the Electoral Commission's
yes, it's still. It was on a moment ago.
It was on.
Yeah, a moment ago.
Now, if you check that data, it should tell you that that projection is wrong. And in fact,
so you're talking about this one?
Yes, this one.
Yes.
If you check from 2012 2012.
Yes.
The EC projected that they were going to register 14 million. They in fact did 98%.
That was a mass registration.
That was a mass registration, yes. Now, in 2014,
yes,
they did a limited registration exercise.
Yes.
They projected to register 1 million.
Yes.
They did 85.72%.
Okay.
Now, during Charlotte Osei's time in 2016,
yes,
she did a limited registration.
Yes.
They projected to register 1.2 million.
Yes.
They did 89% of that projection.
Right.
Even Jane Mensah,
yes,
which in 2018, this was for the referendum.
Yes.
So it was done in some selected regions. They projected to do 100,000. They did 47,811, which is 47.8%. In 2019,
yes,
she did a limited registration.
Yes.
Started from 300,000.
Yes.
Adjusted the figures to 500,000. Finally projected to do 700,000.
Yes.
She actually did an outrun.
Yes.
She went overboard and did 1.2 million.
Yes.
So there's no data here to support that if the EC set out to register a registrable population of 1.3 million, they should target only 52% of that data.
The data supports your assertion.
Exactly. So what it means is that they set out from day one to disenfranchise over 700,000 Ghanaians and to tell them that then this is not the last registration. As if to say that your right to vote in the impending district level election has been taken from you and that it will be given back to you in 2024. What kind of madness is this? Look, it beats my imagination why the Electoral Commission will go this line and put the integrity of our democracy to this risk. And I am rightly informed about some reports done by the National Security which indicates that the conduct of the Electoral Commission is undermining the security of this state. And nobody is willing to call this woman to order. It is as if she's been given some immunity. She's supported by the judiciary, and so she feels that she can do whatever she wants, and nobody can do anything to her. This is very dangerous. Look, in many countries surrounding us, in our continent, this action by Electoral Commission is tantamount to some other interventions on the governance system of such countries. People have dwelled on lesser effects on the democracies of other countries to take power in other countries. And so what this woman is doing is very, very dangerous, Doc, that she does it also with some impunity. Look, you went to Parliament with your budget and your work plan. What was your work plan? You wanted to do a continuous registration for some period of time so that anybody at all could walk to the Electoral Commission's district office and register. I'll come to that. That one too is problematic. But that was your work plan. And as part of that work plan, you wanted Parliament to amend your CI to allow for you to use only the Ghana card as the qualification to register. Parliament rejected the CI. Parliament rejected the CI. What that meant was that Parliament rejected your work plan. You still come back to
the
sit.
work plan was approved because the work plan was part of a budget.
No, Doc, the work plan.
Yes.
Listen, the work plan.
I'm saying that okay, let me not personalize it. The Electoral Commission submitted a budget.
Exactly.
That budget was on the basis of the work plan.
Yes.
Okay. The budget was approved. The budget was approved.
Yes, the budget
However,
was approved.
the CI that will then give legal backing to that work plan has not been approved. It has not seen the light of the day.
Doc, the CI is part of the work plan. What is the work plan? You plan to do some activities in 2023. Part of those activities is the district level elections.
Yes.
Part of it is a limited registration exercise.
Yes.
And so this exercise she's doing was part of a work plan she presented to Parliament.
True.
Now, what was going to support the work plan was the amendment of the CI, which Parliament has rejected.
To the extent of the modalities, so like we want to register at district centers,
Yes.
we want to do the continuous registration, this is how it will be done. Those are the things contained in the CI. I want us to just appreciate this thing.
Yes.
But when it comes to, for example, the financing of the work plan, those are contained in the budget. So yes, the work plan actually is a basis for the budget and also a basis for the CI. You get the point I'm making?
Yes.
Yes. So the budget has been approved.
Yes.
So she can spend, and that's how come she is spending.
Exactly.
However, the CI, to perhaps give legal backing to some of the things that the EC intends doing, which perhaps are novel or new, is what has not happened.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, Doc, we are all saying the same thing. You had a work plan to do continuous registration.
Yes. At district offices.
At district offices. Yes. The justification was that you wanted the CI, you wanted Parliament to amend the CI to allow for you to use only the Ghana card.
Yes.
And that, for you, if the Ghana card was the only source of qualification, then you would limit the registration to your district offices,
Yes.
so that anybody could walk to that office and register.
Yes. So in this case, you're making 2 points.
Yes.
That what they sought to do, which, and I'm trying to make this clarification because that will be the clear departure from the existing CI, will be 2 things. One, that there will be only one.
Yes.
One identification, which is Ghana card, sole.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a clear departure from the existing CI.
Exactly.
And 2, that there will be continuous registration, and this registration will be done at the district offices of the Electoral Commission. So these are the 2 things that clearly are not in the current CI, but which the EC wanted in the CI that they laid, which is yet to.
Yes. Doc, the second one is already in the existing
Yes.
CI. Continuous registration is provided.
No,
for.
I'm saying that continuous registration at the district office. Yes.
Yes, okay. So there's a continuous registration provision.
Yes.
But the EC is supposed to liaise with political parties to develop the modalities.
Yes.
That is what she wants to avoid. Engaging the political parties.
That's what she has put in the CI that has not been passed.
That's the point I'm making. She wants to avoid engaging political parties in determining the modalities. So that should be taken off so that she has the sole power to determine how to do continuous registration.
Okay.
That's what
I
she
get the
wants.
point you were making.
Yeah, that's what she wants. Now, what I'm saying is that the reason why you wanted to do the limited, not limited registration, you wanted to do continuous registration, was to allow for a certain period of time. And you, the EC has explained that that was going to be over a period of 6 months. So that you don't have to rush anybody within 21 days to come to your district office to register. Any person within a period of 6 months can walk to your district office, which has problems of accessibility anyway. But at least there's some ample time for the person to decide when to appear before the district office. Now, that has been rejected by Parliament. Even though Parliament gave you some 56 million Ghana cedis to undertake a limited registration exercise in 2023. And so you cannot come before the media, speaking to the nation, and accuse Parliament and say that Parliament is complicit because Parliament approved what you are currently doing. That is wrong. Parliament did not approve for you to use the Ghana card as the sole qualification. And for that matter, you have abandoned the 6 months registration period. You are now doing 21 days. It's Jameson telling us that this exercise as the district offices is going to cost the nation 56 million. What is she using the monies for? And so, what they want to do is to limit the number of persons who can register.
So which CI supports what is happening?
It is CI 96, CI 91.
Does it support what is happening?
It doesn't.
So that's the question I asked.
It doesn't.
Because this exercise must be supported by a CI.
Yes.
So I'm asking, for this particular one, which is being done at the district offices, which CI supports it?
Maybe Jane Mensah CI Jane Mensah or Bosman Asari.
Okay.
There's no CI that supports what they are doing. In fact, what they are doing, apart from the fact that no CI supports it, it's against the current CI, which clearly indicates that in designating registration centers, consider the suitability of the place to be used as a voting center on election day. None of the EC district offices has ever been used, not even in Council of State elections, has ever been used as a voting center. Now consider the accessibility of the place to the persons who are supposed to register. There are many places. If you study the data that they produce, if you go into the details of district by district, there are districts that on the first day they registered 0. On the second day they registered 1. On the third day they registered 4. They are farm plains. People have to commute 8 hours, cross the lakes before they can have access to the district registration centers. And so what Jane Mensah is doing, Doc, for me, is very dangerous for our democracy. And I think that the conscience of the nation, as we speak now, they are not invited in our democracy, but they should find some backdoor channels in cautioning this woman, because what she's doing is dangerous to our democracy. She's taking the rights of persons from them. She's disrespecting our courts, and the judiciary is looking on. How does the EC prevent bailiffs from serving on them court processes? And if you listen to the flimsy, unreasonable excuses she was giving 2 days ago, that if a process is being served on the EC, it will take some 2-3 days before it lands on their desk, and that it was until last Wednesday that they saw that there were some processes again. And what action did they take? You issued a press statement in the case of Kwabena Dufo versus the NDC. Even before they were served with the processes, Jane Mensah communicated that as for them, they respect the court of Ghana. Anytime they are served with any notice of injunction, their hands are stayed. They will not proceed. Now you come 2 days ago to tell the nation that you saw a notice of injunction and a notice of an application of contempt against you. You saw it last Wednesday and you are still doing the registration. How can this happen? And the process that was filed in court, Doc, for this important constitutional provision, we were told that the CJ has traveled. She holds the key to the homes of judges. So when she's not around, no judge can move from his or her residence to sit on a case. When the CJ finally appears, the date that was given is way beyond when the exercise would have already happened, rendering the application moot. There's no need for anybody to go to court again, because on the 17th, what are you going to do? What you wanted to be addressed has already happened. This is contrary to what was done by the same judiciary in 2012. And I'm sure some other panelists have pointed out to you that in 2012, when somebody challenged the Electoral Commission's mandate to create additional constituencies, it was during a legal vacation. The court, the CJ, appointed a sole justice of the Supreme Court to hear the preliminary issues which had to do with the injunction before they constituted a full panel to sit on the case. Why can't it be done now? And so because of the attitude of the judiciary, which clearly points to some holy protection of Jane Mensah, she feels that she's living in some glass, burglar-proof, situation that she can do what she wants without anybody calling her to order. What she's doing is against the Constitution, and any act that is against the Constitution, if we don't take steps to stop it, legal steps, which we have done and which we have not gotten any answers from or solution, is tantamount to giving persons some grounds to say that if you don't respect the Constitution, then the Constitution becomes useless.
All right. Okay. So Eric, just hold on. We'll take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calcate's toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calcate's. Happy smile.
Ready for something refreshing and great tasting? For your kids' enjoyment?
Angel Cola.
For your graduation enjoyment?
Angel Cola.
Beach hangout?
Angel Cola.
For all your refreshing moments?
Angel Cola.
For your parties, get-togethers, events, and celebrations, enjoy a chilled bottle of Angel Cola. Radio Grandma, today is your day. Over to you.
Thank you. Enjoyment Cola.
The Enjoyment Cola. Enjoy all your moments and fun time with Angel Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
ECG is now cashless. My studio lights are always on. I never run out of power. With the ECG Power app, I'm able to report an issue, check my credit, buy power, all in real time whenever I need to. I don't worry if ECG vendors are closed. In the comfort of wherever I may be, I still keep my lights on thanks to the ECG Power app. You can simply use mobile money wallets, Visa or MasterCard. It does not attract e-levy. With the ECG Power app, you are totally covered. To download, go to the App Store or the Google Play Store. You don't have a smartphone? Don't worry. No internet? Don't worry. No data? Do not worry. Just dial *226#. This is what I call convenience in your hands. ECG Power app. A yes, simple pa.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say. But as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Step into success with Accra Business School. Boost your career with a prestigious MSc degrees from KNUST. Pick from Human Resource Management, Communication and International Relations, Public Affairs. In just 12 months, our MBA can be yours. Dive into our BSc programs in IT Security and Cybercrime, IT Management and Business and Management, endorsed by top universities in Ireland and Wales. We offer flexible entry, payment and learning options. It's time to unlock your potential and take flight. Visit www.abs.edu.gh or dial 0263-888-555. Let Accra Business School elevate your future today.
To help meet your business and private printing needs successfully, we have just the right products and services. At Appointed Time Printing Limited, we specialize in digital printing, offset printing, packaging and security printing. Our innovative designs and complete professional touch on our print products such as posters, flyers, brochures, magazines, whole cards and any other print solution of your choice ensure that our customers are always happily connected to their audience. With our security printing section, our clients are assured of a highly secured and confidential work process from start to finish. At Appointed Time, our prices are very competitive. Locate us at the old GNTC building near Swansea Shopping Arcade, Accra. Contact us on 0501 454165, 0501 454167. Appointed Time Printing Limited. Our printing is the solution.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
My name is John, and this is my long-time crush, my cookie dipped in strawberry yogurt. On this scorching hot afternoon on our way back from a long job hunt, we met this good Samaritan who offered us a 6 weeks later.
A special wedding reception for our bride and groom.
And there she is, my cookie, dipped in someone else's yogurt.
Who holds the moolah, holds the shot. Play game by games, the easiest lottery to play and win. Big phone numbers from 0 to 9 up to 3 times daily to become one of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now, or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
Inside Black Star Press Limited, grow inside the invective minds, evolving concepts and the creative trends. The printing press you need now. Witness the beauty, diversity and natural wonder with our works. Inside Black Star Press Limited, in association with Lionhead Group of Companies. Call us now on 0200-880-000 for all your print works. Black Star Press Limited, a worldwide reputation for quality printing.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And still with me on the show, I have Erica Mwakuchun and Broja Jemfi. But are you desperate of getting a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money? The recommended family toothpaste is KEL 360 toothpaste, approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. KEL 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. KEL 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity with its cool mint, gives you fresh breath throughout the day, and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use KEL 360 toothpaste. KEL 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. It's available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 024-686-4798. KEL 360 toothpaste, happy smile. As the Makers Electronics Blessing Attack promo, rush the Makers Electronics Company Limited for up to 67% discount on selected appliances from brands such as Samsung, LG Moved, NASCO, TCL, Media, and Toshiba. These are quality but affordable with 2 years manufacturer defect warranty. Visit the showrooms at Taifa Burkina Highway, Amasaman Zongo Junction, Yarifa Teman Boga Junction, Kaswa New Market, Ashama Vaco Flat, Kumasi Ahinima Kokobin, Takrade Fiekuma No. 9 Market. You can reach the Makers Electronics Company Limited on 055-222-2253 or 055-222-2254. The Makers Electronics Company Limited, large and in charge with quality but affordable home appliances and consumer electronics. Terms and conditions apply. Now, Original 91.9 FM, Original TV and Metro TV in partnership with Superb Lounge brings you all the excitement at this year's Ojura Festival, Mother Kropon in the Eastern region. Yes, tune in for all the sights and sounds of rich culture, the rich culture and tradition of the Equapian people from Friday the 29th of September to Monday the 2nd of October 2023. Join the train from Accra through the Ebre Mountains to Ekropon for the following activities. Friday the 29th of September, Akwaba night with Last Maid and Efia. Saturday 30th September, free watch party at Superb Lounge from 8 a.m. and a serious jam with Medical and Wendy Shea at Superb Lounge. Sunday, enjoy a motor delight with a live band from Inchenchen Band from 9 a.m. and a big concert with Bisakeda and friends from 7 p.m. Monday, 2nd October is Bikini Pool Party at Kwaisibia Hotel from 10 a.m. with Kojon Kansan, Lil Wendy, Crime, Stage A, DJ Azonto, and Donzi. The after parties at the Superb Lounge from 7 p.m. This year's Ojura Festival promises to be full of unforgettable experiences, and yours truly, Metro TV, Original TV, and Original 91.9 FM will bring you a delightful experience. So Ojura at Ekropon. All right. Yes, let's wrap up on the
Randy, you know, my brother Broja, at a point I thought this thing was turned into a little bit of a heated conversation. I think that when you want to make your point, you probably sometimes have to be a bit more circumspect. Now, this whole conversation around that the conditions are rife for some kind of insurrection, and that if people are unhappy with the Electoral Commission, it can actually lead to the overthrow of our democracy and everything. I think that's becoming unbecoming of most of the panelists that come from the NDC side. Sometimes I even wonder if they are actually a political party or they are an advocate for a coup d'etat, and who would actually benefit from a situation like that. That notwithstanding, I mean, if they tell us about this, their so-called revolutionary past, I thought that they moved away from that. But sometimes some of the commentary for me, I think it's a bit irresponsible. Again, I don't think that we are in a situation where there's any justification for any kind of the usurping of the current status quo when it comes to our democracy. If people are unhappy about any government, they know what to do. When it gets to the election cycle, you go and you prefer your view on who should lead in the next election cycle. That's it. Secondly, I mean, their flag bearer, former President John Mahama, has an advice for them. Back in 2015, when Let My Vote Count and the NPP were agitating for a new voters register, he came out and said that the Electoral Commission was an independent body and that as an executive, they didn't have any role to play in the decisions that are being taken by the Electoral Commission. So what has changed? How is it that 6, 7, 8 years down the line, all of a sudden, everything that the Electoral Commission does is in cahoots with the New Patriotic Party? And now, they've actually moved away from accusing the executive and the party from being in cahoots with the Electoral Commission, and even drawing in the judiciary. And what is more dangerous than that? I find that more dangerous than anything that you've accused the Electoral Commission of. In any case, I mean, if the Electoral Commission does stuff that you feel that you are unhappy with, like you've activated a court process, you do so. But to have this siege mentality where it's almost as if that everything that the Electoral Commission does is wrong and that there are things that are being done to the detriment of the NDC. Is it only the NDC people who live in remote areas? Are you saying that everybody that lives in a remote area is an NDC member is going to go and vote for the NDC? Is that what you're saying? I mean, come on. Sometimes some of these conversations, it's almost as if that let's criticize for the sake of it. If there are pertinent issues, that challenges within the system that we need to discuss, by all means, let's do so. I sat here and said that even for us as stakeholders in the political cycle, if we feel that we are going to trust the process and be, objective and move away from this whole disingenuous way of doing politics where in one breath, when the EC decides to do a continuous registration of people who have turned 18, the NDC today will kick against it. They will kick against it. Because they feel that they want to be there to make sure that every single person that does go on the roll is actually scrutinized by them. Is that the role of a political party? No. In another instance.
But is that not the reason why...
One day, I'll make this point.
No, I'm just saying, is that not the reason why in the current legislation, when it comes to continuous registration, the law says that the EC must do that in consultation with the political parties?
Yeah, but so the consultation does not mean that if the NDC or the MPP as a political party has an intransigent position, the AC should go by them. By the
but is that the case?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That even this
no, the point I'm making is that by the law, it suggests that the framers of the law see the political parties as an integral part, a key stakeholder. And so, although the Constitution gives the right of a compilation of the register to the EC, the law says that when it comes to this thing, do it in consultation.
I have no challenge with that. And I'm saying that even when the consultation have been done, or there are attempts to do this thing, depending on where you stand, there had never been a proper consensus on this continuous registration. Second thing that he said about the fact that there's no existing CI that actually this new arrangement is standing on. And I have a problem with Parliament if that is the case.
Why?
Because as we speak, almost every single member of Parliament is actually in their constituency, right, supervising a process that does not have the backing of a CI. And they are supposed to be the ones who are supposed to be protecting the sanctity of our democracy. Do you understand?
What can they do?
But that is why I'm saying that. What can they do?
Yes.
Parliament can call the Electoral Commission.
No, it's you and I.
There's
you and I. If we believe that the Electoral Commission is acting unconstitutionally or unlawfully, we go to court.
But so are we saying that the members of Parliament do not know that the Electoral Commission are...
Their party is gone to court.
That is my
At least a part of them, their party is gone to court.
But that is the point that I'm trying to
Half
make.
of them, their party is gone to court. Another half, their party is not going to
but
court. They are not seeking any legal...
The ones who have gone to court are still in their various constituency, facilitating the process.
They are applying common sense.
Okay, so that is why I'm saying that. Can we continue to be applying common sense when we can actually have a structure, an architecture,
so who should
a
answer
system,
that?
and a process?
Because we have a law.
But
if it's a system and architecture, we have a law.
Yes.
And the law is supposed to provide the architecture.
Yes.
It's supposed to provide a system. And if it is being infringed upon, the same law says that go to court if you think that something is being done.
But I honestly believe...
So why are we not calling on those who are acting unlawfully and infringing on the architecture and the structure? Why are we not rather calling them out?
And that's what I'm saying. I have no challenge with people calling out the Electoral Commission. I'm saying that the reasons why we are here as we speak, and being extremely candid, is the fact that at every point in time, there's mistrust. You know what I'm saying? True. And so we have to find a common ground and a certain consensus and say that this is the structure that the Electoral Commission works with. I mean, this whole idea that every time that they have to go through a process, you have to go to Parliament and activate a CI, as far as I'm concerned, it's not best practice. You understand what I'm saying? I think that, honestly, Parliament can use its time more judiciously and more productively if we actually have something that actually works. We all agree this is the process. We agree in terms of the modalities. Then we don't have to be doing this back and forth.
But don't we all agree that this is the law? We have approved a law. So it is an agreement.
Yes.
Nobody has gone to challenge the current CI. It has not been. Nobody has gone to challenge it. So that is the law. That is what we have agreed should conduct. Should be how we conduct ourselves.
Randy,
no, I'm just saying that's the law. There's a constitution, and the constitution says that for regulations to enable you do your work, go and get a CI. There's a CI in existence. The CI clearly spells out how this thing should be done. Is it not the responsibility of that constitutional body and its officers to follow exactly the regulations that support their work? No. So if they are not doing what is in that regulation, why do we want to go and apportion blame to some other party?
No, I'm not.
We need to call them out. We need to ask why they are not doing what the CI says they should do.
I have no challenge with that particular position when it comes to exacting responsibility from them. What I'm saying is that even this whole conversation around using the national identification as the sole ID for the continuous registration, right? And even if you're applying this whole conversation around common sense, what was the big deal about it? You could have allowed those persons who have the national ID card to go to the Electoral Commission when they turn 18 to have their name on the roll.
And for those who
and those who don't have, to exact maybe a limited registration exercise like we are doing, so that the numbers will not. We are now grappling with people who.
So who should have done this?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That if there is the disagreement, right, in terms of if there is no guarantor system, then we can't allow the people who have registered. That's what I'm saying.
The position of Parliament is that you cannot have only this, and the kind of recommendation you are making is akin to the recommendation Parliament has made. Parliament is saying that their position, as we heard, was that look, if you go ahead with what you have brought to us, the situation that you are talking about is what will arise. So go and change it so that those who have can do it. Those who don't have can also have another way to do it.
I mean, I will not.
That was the position.
I will not have a challenge.
But that is the position of Parliament.
And that is why I'm saying that as we go along, right? I think I've repeated myself severally. As we go along, there has to be some kind of consensus going forward. And again, my advice to the NDC. There's in one way, we used to read this Ace of Fables. There's this a boy who cried wolf, right? Now, sometimes when a thing doesn't exist, don't create it. You know, so at times when you do that, when there are actually legitimate reasons, there are things that you're supposed to, talk about and engage when it comes to national discourse. People will not actually trust what you're saying or will think that there we go again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the calls that have been made by several persons to get back onto the iPad. There's nothing wrong with going back onto the iPad and even forcefully making those pronouncements there. And it will be on record that you have made those pronouncements at iPad. Now you don't come out of that engagement and then be doing media, social media, and doing things like what Buja is doing here this morning, even claiming that if the process is not sanitized, it will lead to people taking the law into their own hands and usurping a constitution that we've all fought to maintain. I think that is not the right thing to do. Yes, by all means, let's call the EC to order if it makes certain decisions that is contrary to the constitution. I will not engage that. And I don't even like having conversation around the EC and certain other independent bodies, because for me as somebody who's politically aligned, I don't really speak for the Electoral Commission. I don't even want to be seen to be preferring views that suggest that, I am speaking for the Electoral Commission. But for us as political people, we have to sometimes be a bit objective with the analysis and the contributions that we make. Because I'm sure you can find certain things that I have said, probably even in opposition, condemning actions that have been taken by the Electoral Commission and vice versa. But we can't continue having this conversation over and over again regarding a register. Do we want to adopt modern methods of ensuring that when people come onto the road, those people are eligible? Yes, we have agreed that we want to go by the national ID card. Do we find a situation where we support the NIA to have the resources and all the things that it requires to be able to make sure that everybody that should have an NIA card will have an NIA card? Then this whole conversation will not even be had. Should we find innovative ways of ensuring that persons within remote areas will not go through all these challenges trying to get to a district office to register? By all means, let's do that, because as we progress as a people, we need to be able to adopt innovative ways of making these public sector, public service requirements easy for Ghanaians to access, right? And so if we are in a digital environment and you can find ways that we all agree to, as political persons, that if we agree on this method, if somebody lives in a village somewhere and they cannot access the Electoral Commission and they can have access to an NIA card because they had done that previously, we don't take them through this whole process of coming to an Electoral Commission office to register, then we have made progress.
All right. Okay. But just before you wrap on this for us, I have this from Dr. Percy. And it says that by every rational yardstick, our Electoral Commission is engaged in voter suppression with their insistence on limiting registration to district offices. And the strenuous defense of the EC's position by MPP communicators is enough evidence that this has been done at the direction of or in collusion with the MPP. Given MPP's poor performance in government, it can only break the 8 come December 2024 if it suppresses the votes of Ghanaians, in particular the youth and rural folk, who are the principal targets of the EC's outrageous impositions. And that is our EC's current mission. That's Dr. Percy's view, Dr. David Percy. Yes, Bridget.
Doc, let me first deal with an issue that was raised at the press conference, which concerns your show and Honorable Ablakwa.
Okay.
You know, last Friday or so,
yes,
Honorable Ablakwa pulled some news item about
what Mrs. Jimensa said in
when she was with IE. She responded to that.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I want to, and she lied, you know, in the press conference. Okay. If you take her statement, yes, barefaced lie, and I'm going to expose that. Okay. If you take her statement, you go to paragraph 29. This is what she says. On a personal note, I have seen a video circulating in which the author states that as executive director of the IEA, I called on the EC to expand the registration centers during the 2016 voters registration exercise ahead of the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections. I state categorically that I said so.
That I said so?
Yes.
Okay.
So she does not deny. Okay. And I did so in a constructive manner, devoid of attacks, insults, and falsehood. We recall that in the lead up to the 2016 election, the commission at the time undertook voter registration in 8 district offices throughout the country. This was conducted in a year of a general election, i.e. presidential parliamentary election. I am being accused of doing same thing. The difference here is this. The current exercise being conducted in the 268 district offices is not being undertaken in a year of a general election. 2016 was a year for presidential and parliamentary elections. Hence, my call to the EC in 2016 to expand the scope of the registration. That is not to say that the district level elections are not important, they are. So what she's saying is that in 2016, she called for the EC to expand the registration exercise. But that registration that was done in 2016 was limited to the district offices because it was in an election year. So that's her justification. And Doc, I didn't know this woman could lie like that. You see, if you go and pull the data you put up,
yes,
you would notice that in 2016, between 28th April and 5th May, the Electoral Commission did a registration exercise at 6,000 centers.
Correct.
6,000 centers.
Correct.
Not at district offices.
True.
The Electoral Commission does not have 6,000 district offices.
Yes.
And these centers produce 1,069,365 per the data you put up. Now, this was between 28th April and 5th May. Now, if you go to, I have the news item here, published by pulse.com.gh. This news was published on May 11th, 2016.
Yes.
May 11th.
Yes.
So clearly, it was a few days after the registration at 6,000 centers that Madame Jane Mensah, as the executive director of IEA, was calling on the EC to expand the registration.
That's the truth.
Now, the EC, even beyond these 6,000 registration centers, in the same election year, in the lead up to the election, opened a 3-day registration at their district offices.
That's the mop-up.
That was the mop-up.
Yes.
And so if she comes before us and tells us that what she is doing is justified because she is doing an exercise which is quite different from what Charlotte Osei did, because Charlotte Osei did registration at the district offices in an election year. That is a lie.
Yes.
It is a barefaced lie. It is not true. Charlotte Osei did a limited registration exercise at 6,000 centers. It was after that 6,000 centers that she opened up again for continuous registration for 3 days at the district offices.
So let me read exactly what she said. Okay. And this is an interview she granted. Okay, so this is actually on the 10th of May, Tuesday the 10th of May. Okay. And so the story is that the EC has been urged to rescind this decision against extending the period for the limited voters registration exercise, which ended on Sunday, the 8th of May, 2016. The Director of Electoral Services at the EC, Samuel Tete, on Tuesday, May 10th, said the EC achieved its target in the just ended limited voters registration exercise, and thus there will be no need to extend the period for the exercise. But several calls have come from CSOs and other prominent voices requesting an extension of the exercise. Apart from the National Peace Council, student bodies, and the New Patriotic Party have urged the EC to extend the registration period because a lot of eligible students could not be captured. On Tuesday, the Institute of Economic Affairs also added its voice to the calls. Its executive director, Jane Mensah, said, quote, "I will say that to some extent it has gone very well and a number of people have been registered. However, we followed the process quite carefully and we are also aware that there are many others who would wish to be registered who did not have the opportunity. And I know that we have said it to be proper that we do not disenfranchise people who are willing to vote or cast their vote for the first time. We have indicated that if resources will allow, it will be important for the EC to extend the registration exercise to allow those who are really keen and those who are serious to vote. We have called for an extension of 2 more weeks."
Yes.
So the exercise was for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So we have called for an extension of 2 more weeks. And we believe that any serious person who really wants to be registered will really have the opportunity to do so. I think that will ensure some peace and give some credibility to the process. And although Mrs. Mensah admitted that the continuous registration process will give failed applicants another opportunity to register. She was doubtful about the convenience of the process. Quote, if you look at the proximity of the various centers where the registration is being done, it makes it very easy for people who are within a locality to go to their areas and register. Whereas, if they go to the EC, for instance, to register, they may end up voting in a particular constituency which may be far away from where they live. I think that is a great idea to have the continuous registration process. But I'm not sure how convenient it will be for someone who lives in Weja and who has to come all the way to Ridge, and that is the Office of the Electoral Commission to register, unless the EC's offices within the various constituencies and localities will be open to allow that. I'm not sure whether that process has been formalized. We are yet to receive any notification from the EC as to whether that process has been formalized. We are actually yet to receive a notification from the EC whether a continuous registration process will be effective, she told City FM. So please put the data back on the screen, the data of the registration exercises. I want that data back on the screen. Now, if you look at the data, you will see limited registration exercise. And then you would realize that that if you see where Charlotte Osei is written. Okay, so you see the date for the exercise. You will see the date there. That's 28th of April. And it was for 10 days. You see the centers are 6,000. And the projected was 1.2. And the actual was 1,069,000, representing 89.31. So this is the one that the current Electoral Commissioner, Mrs. Mensah, was criticizing. It was for 10 days, and it was limited exercise. It was done at 6,000 centers, and these were her views on it. And she was asking for another 2 weeks for this exercise, which was done at 6,000, which captured 89% of the people. So what she said at the presser as to what she was criticizing is not what she actually criticized.
Exactly.
She cannot be criticizing something on the 11th of May.
Yes.
About something that happened
later in the year.
Yes.
Somewhere, I think in September or so.
Yes.
So clearly, she lied, and she must come again.
Well, maybe her recollection of the facts and events were deficient.
The emphasis is very clear. The emphasis is very clear that she has not missed her recollection or her memory.
No, she's mixed up the dates and the events.
No.
There were two events that year.
She knows what she's talking about.
No, there are two events that year. So I'm sure she mixed them up.
Okay, so she has promised that she will do regular presses. So at the next presser, she should come back and address this issue. What she criticized was actually what we are saying she should do. That is what she was criticizing. Now, she even goes further and say that's why I'm saying the emphasis. She says that, however, as mentioned earlier, our budget and work plan for 2023, which Parliament approved, was based on a continuous registration. Look, emphasis, continuous registration, I'll come to that. Exercise, not registration at electoral area basis. I place on record that our plan for 2024 is not the same and will not be the same as the modalities currently in existence. Neither will it be the same as the 2016 registration exercise. So he comes back to talk about the 2016 registration exercise, emphasizing that for her, the 2016 registration exercise happened at the EC district offices, which is not true. And so she must be clear. If she has lost her principles when she was the executive director for IEA, she should let us know. Or even if there was no principle, she was merely criticizing Charlotte Osei. She was merely criticizing Charlotte Osei for nothing. She should make it clear and let us know. That is the same measurement we will adduce before her. She must be put to prove a strict proof. She must explain why she criticized 6,000 centers and now turn around to do 268 centers. But look, quickly to go on the the continuous registration. My brother was talking about something on the continuous registration. Look, if you check the CI, it is very clear, and this is not the first time I'm reading this CI here. If you read the public elections regulation, now go to regulation 9, I believe so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to open it up. That deals with continuous registration. If you check regulation 9, it states period of registration. This is the current CI that the EC is using. And from her presser, she has admitted that what she's doing is continuous registration. Regulation 9.1 says, the commission shall register voters on a continuous basis. So continuous registration is allowed by the law. Regulation 9.2, the commission shall, in consultation with registered political parties, determine the modalities for the continuous registration of voters. The modalities she's using. Which political parties did she consult? Which political parties did she sit with to determine the modalities? In fact, at the last IPAC meeting, where the political parties raised objection, which political parties, the NDC, was not even in attendance. Charlotte Osei herself was not at the meeting.
You mean Jane Mensah?
Jane Mensah, sorry. Was not at the meeting. It was her deputy who was at the meeting. And it was her deputy who communicated to the political parties that the commission will retreat and come back to meet them on the modalities for the registration. She only appears the next 2 days on television and announces what she wanted to do against the regulation, against the constitutional instrument. And so when I say that this woman is undermining our democracy.
You mean the commission?
Of course, the commission is undermining our democracy. Look, I say so on stated grounds. It is not as if I am merely criticizing them. The NDC, we shepherd this republic. This democracy was shepherded by us. We will never do anything that will undermine and throw away this baby that we so love. And so we have been very clear that we will not support any military intervention. And in fact, in my submission, I stated that the military, which appears to be the only conscience of the nation now, all the institutions have been compromised. All the institutions, independent institutions, they've been compromised. It is only the military that is left with the conscience of the nation, that people have some level of trust. I am saying that we are not inviting them to interfere with the governance system. We are not inviting them like some people invited them to enter parliament and abuse the rules of parliament. We are only saying that they can use some backdoor mechanisms of engaging the leadership of this country about what Jane Mensah is doing, that it is dangerous for our democracy, and we must not sit aloof and watch her conduct herself in that manner. But Doc, on this note, let me commend the teeming youth of this country. There are over 200,000 persons who have defied the odds and have commuted from their villages, the remotest parts of their district, to the district centers to register. I call on more people to endure the registration exercise and make sure that their names enter into the electoral roll. It is in the interest of the NPP government and the Electoral Commission to see less people register, because it's very clear that now they are afraid of voters. The sitting government that won elections with a so-called 1 million gap, with a so-called 500,000 gap, all of a sudden is afraid of voters and does not want people to register and cast their vote and face accountability in 2024. So if you sit in your house and say that you don't want to stress yourself, you don't want to endure the process, it is in the interest of the party in government and the Electoral Commission. So please, let's move out, let's defy the odds and get to the registration centers and make sure that we register and vote them out for them to face accountability in 2025.
All right, okay. Let's move on. NPP primaries. I don't believe in attacking opponents, Baomiam. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says his main focus is to share his ideas and project the good works of the new Patriotic Party government to party stakeholders. As he tours around the country ahead of a party flag bearership race, speaking to MPP delegates in Esutifi in the Hafu region, Dr. Bawumia said he does not believe in attacking his opponents in an internal contest, when the ultimate objective of every member of the MPP is to see the party defeat the NDC in 2024. Quote, I don't believe in attacking my opponents, and I won't do that because it will be toxic and won't be good for our party. This is an internal contest to elect our flag bearer, so why should I attack my opponents or say something against our party? I'm running a very decent campaign. I'm selling my ideas to delegates, and I do that with decorum, with humility, with respect, and without mentioning anybody's name. The Vice President also said he's cautioning his campaign team members and spokesperson not to attack anybody, even if he's attacked by any aspirant, in the interest of a party. Quote, this should be a contest of ideas, not insults. So I've told all my staff not to insult or attack anyone. They should stick to sharing my vision and message to delegates. I've told them that even if I am attacked or insulted, they should not respond because I am a unifier. What's the basis of this assertion by the Vice President?
Randy, you know this is a very self-explanatory message.
No, I've read it. I said, what's the basis?
The basis.
Yes.
The basis is, I mean, admonishing all of us. And you know, I indicated a while back that I'm supporting the Vice President. And even in that first endorsement that I made, I also stated that I have personal relationships with almost all the people who were contesting the flag bearer elections. And that it wasn't something that was even allowed to happen, that I would say something that is untoward. And I think that the Vice President himself has also indicated that with his public discourse and the way he has conducted himself in this particular primary, that, I mean, he goes to a constituency and tells his story and makes the call for the delegates who are actually going to do the voting to give him an opportunity to lead the party and prosecute an agenda for the election come 2024. That's what he does. I have been at some of the various constituencies that he has visited, and not for once have I heard him actually make direct reference or even indirect reference to any of his other aspirants. I don't want to call them opponents, because in a final analysis we would have to come together, unite, and prosecute an agenda for 2024. But then also very important, because sometimes the aspirants themselves do not cast aspersions. There will be persons who are supposed to be either allies or aides or supporters who feel that the only thing that they can do is to have the most acerbic of tongues and say the most derogatory of stuff against other opponents. And I feel that it's a responsibility of those leaders to actually call their persons to order, like the Vice President has done. I mean, so that it becomes a sanitized environment. It's about discourse, and the conversation is about policy conversations and what you can do, and why is it that you think that you best fit the position of flag bearer to lead us into 2024. And so for me, this is not a new thing. I think that the reason why this has come up is because just a couple of days ago, he reiterated this point at one of the constituencies.
Did he reiterate the point? Because since last Friday, there have been a lot of publications about Honorable Kennedy Japon, and he addressing supporters and granting interviews, and on the basis of some questions and his statements, he's called out the Vice President on one issues about the economy, two, I think an answer to a question about Ahmed Swale and all those things. Was the Vice President responding to the latest issues that are coming up from this weekend?
No, I don't necessarily think so. And even if you are inviting me to comment, it means that I'm actually going against.
No. That's why I asked, what's the basis?
Yeah,
because obviously, for the Vice President to raise this issue, it must be motivated by something. It will not just out of the blue. Of all you go to Asutifi, of all the problems that they have, this is what you're going to tell them. It must be informed by something.
No, but I think that is also, if you ask me, it's good leadership, because basically what he's saying is that keep your eye on the ball, be focused, persons either within the campaign or outside of the campaign will throw all sorts of things at you, but you can't deviate from the path. You have to focus, you have to concentrate on what is most important. And what is most important is that we are on the verge of doing something that has never happened before. And the thing is that you need to be able to go through this process unscathed or with as little collateral damage as possible. We can't kid ourselves that, I mean, you go into an internal process like this, all the stakes and how the stakes are high without persons feeling either aggrieved or disgruntled or whatever. We'll be kidding ourselves if we do that. But to the best of your ability, make sure that the conversation is hovering around policy directions, the reasons why you think that you are the best person to run the campaign.
Yes.
If you're making like direct reference to certain individuals, I would not believe that he was making reference to just one particular person. What tends to happen, I mean, and you have followed this game for a long time, that in every environment you have the hawks and the doves and those in between. And some persons would probably say, but if somebody is attacking you, maybe you should also respond, I mean, with equal measure or even more than that. But that is the temperament of the vice president. He says, listen, they can do whatever they want.
So what would you say to those who say that if they listen to the Honorable Kennedy Japan, they do not consider what he says as an attack. They consider what he says as speaking to policy and calling out the competence or otherwise of the vice president. That if he speaks to DDEP and he speaks to the exchange rate, and it refers to the vice president's position of issues in the past and what has happened. And he's speaking about the murder of a journalist. And he speaks about the vice president's chairmanship of the police council. And that is the police that is responsible when it comes to unraveling crime, which includes murder. He has not attacked him. He's calling out his competence. He's challenging his position on issues and things that have happened under his watch. And so it is up to the vice president to respond to those issues and not pretend as if there are attacks.
No, but the point is that I don't think that the vice president made mention of any particular individual.
That's why I said, what would you say to
and so those persons who are making those assertions, they have every right to do that. Now, even if you want to delve into those issues that are being raised, I mean, if you are engaged in, let's say, political or internal contest, there is a certain level of circumspection that is required. You know, so for nothing at all, you can't be seeking to lead a brand that you actually are also doing everything to denigrate and to even cast doubts as to if that brand actually has what it takes to actually lead into another. But that's another conversation for another day. Now, if you want to go into either the personal characteristics or the public persona that persons have displayed and a history of things that have happened within the political landscape, I think that we all have certain things to say. I have been one of those persons that would say that anybody that goes out there that feels that they can extricate themselves from the party and things that have happened within the party and government, and that they can actually come out as a change, if you like, agent, is kidding themselves. That's what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, within any organization or even in this particular context, this political party, every government, you definitely have some low points, low moments as a government. Right, but also like a number of things that this government can be proud of, and those are the things that we are going to go into the next election to reiterate and project and emphasize to the Ghanaian people that these are the things that we stand for. Yes, we won't say that we're taking ourselves out of all the challenges that we face as a people, but even for a leader, you have to be able to project, right, that particular confidence. It has to be something that you'll be able to engender across the whole, all the way to the grassroots. to engender that motivates the grassroots that we are not a political party that does not know what it's about, and that even as a government, yes, we've had certain challenges in certain sectors, but these are the things that we can point out to. And I mean, if given the opportunity, we talk about these things in almost every single sector. You understand? So for me, because of the internal contest, and I believe strongly that regardless of where people are, the disgruntled voices and people who are expressing disgust. Listen, in any political enterprise, you would have persons who would feel aggrieved. You understand? Because whatever it is that you do, persons will feel that certain things. My brother, I've been in elections before. He's been in elections. You go into an election, and even the people that are supposed to be supporting you, on the final day are the ones who actually, you understand? And it's for expedient purposes. Sometimes even they call it interest, you know. But at the end of the day, you get up, you dust off the dust, and then you move on. You can't be seeking just because you've lost an election or because you feel that the so-called establishment, and I don't know where that comes from. You can't be seeking to destroy the very vehicle that you're supposed to use to prosecute this particular agenda. And I've said it severally. If anybody feels that they are popular, they are the best candidate and all that, you're free to run independent. Nothing stops you from doing that. But if you're going to use, yes, I'm telling you, if you wake up one morning and you feel that in England it's early morning TV, right? And so if you wake up one morning and you feel that this is you and that you have all that it takes, then you don't need the vehicle that is a political party to run your presidential ambition. But if you're going to use that, you can't destroy it and then turn around and say that you are the best person to lead the party. And it goes to everybody. And I think that as we speak, the vice president has shown exemplary leadership against all the attacks and all the casting of aspersions and the innuendos and all of those things. He's remained focused, kept his eye on the ball, and I believe strongly that come November 4th, the party would give him a resounding victory, and then we will move on. Because you see, there are people within the ecosystem that would feel aggrieved one way or the other. You understand what I'm saying? I am supporting the vice president even on the basis of the fact that we need to sanitize the sort of discourse that we have in our political discussions, right? And certain persons, people who have become very popular today as a result of a certain, if you like, abrasiveness and maverick nature, and abuse our political party to a certain, I call it self-aggrandizement, are now the same persons who are creating challenges. And so that's even a lesson to all of us, that as we go along, the very reason why most of us join this political party is because of a certain tradition, a certain political narrative and how we carry ourselves. And we can't use, or we can't allow that platform to be used by persons for their own selfish gains just because it's expedient to us. The vice president is the best candidate to lead. I mean, all those other persons who are contesting, of course, have the right to do so, right? And I think that once we're able to go through that process, we'll come out stronger.
Yeah.
I honestly,
before you go on, let me just on the previous discussion we're having.
Okay.
I'm told that the Tema High Court has granted the order to serve the EC with the contempt application by substitution. So they are to post it on their walls and leave a copy with any officer of the EC. So that's what has just happened at the Tema High Court.
And we expect that the EC will comply when they are served. And if they don't, we expect the court, the same court, to put them in check. Because the Constitution put the judiciary in a position to be able to check everybody who goes against the Constitution. It is their job, and we expect that they do it. Doc, with regards to Dr. Bawumia, honestly, I have not seen...
you don't support Dr.
Of course. I have said, I'm on record to have said that we are prepared for any of the aspirants, but we are more prepared for Bawumia than any of the rest. So if that can be support, then it means we want him to win. So I have not seen or read any direct insult at the person of the vice president, honestly, unless I am pointed to anyone who has directly attacked the person or insulted Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in this contest. I have been keenly following all the rallies and the campaigns from when they were 10 to now that they are 4. And I haven't seen, read, or watched anybody cast direct insult or insulting the person of the vice president. It is simply that he's running from accountability. And it's very clear from the conduct of the vice president, when it comes to accountability, he's a coward. He doesn't own up to be called to account for his competence or stewardship. And so, because other aspirants are throwing jabs at his competence, he is trying to gain some sympathies from that by telling the delegates that people are insulting him and they should not insult anybody and all that. It may not necessarily come from him as a candidate, but I've seen the 10 sins of Kennedy Japan. I don't know if, Doc, you have come across it.
What's that?
10 sins. There's a chart, a whole chart, with Ken's picture in the middle, and then the 10 sins that will send him to hell is listed around that chart.
You know that even sometimes.
Oh, you haven't seen it, though?
No.
It's one of the things that Ken was responding to when they did the showdown walk.
Oh.
When he said that Dr. Bawumia is the chairman of the police council,
yes,
he was responding to one of the sins as the murder, the one who engineered or instigated the murder of Ahmed Swale.
Okay.
That is why he was responding to that. Okay. And then he said that the vice president is the chairman of the police council, and so he should know the one who killed Ahmed Swale. I don't know how this one constitutes an insult. You have to respond to it, because if he says that you are the chairman of the police council, and so if your people are saying that the murder of Ahmed Swale is one of his sins, and he calls you out as the chairman of the police council to speak to it, you must speak to it. You don't run away from it and say that that is an insult. That is what he was talking about. Another one has to do with the creation of jobs. Because at that rally, and I watched it, he said that there are persons who have not created one factory. They have not established any factory in the north.
But is that also one of the sins?
Is that
also one of the 10 sins?
No, that's not one of the 10 sins. Okay. If you want to know all the 10 sins, I can list them for you.
Nobody
in the CPP is contesting Kennedy Japan. We are not interested in the sins at this point. We are not interested. No, I'm just telling you that no political party, apart from your internal persons, will be interested in him. But you see, Dr. Bawumia must own up to accountability. This is a contest, as he said, it's a contest of ideas. It's a contest of persons' capabilities and competencies. You have been the vice president for close to 8 years. What you have been able to do, or what you said you are capable of doing, and you have done, tell the delegates. That's simply what the other aspirants are speaking to. That's simply what they are speaking to. And so he must own up. You'd realize that when it comes to the issues of the economy, especially when the economy started going down, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has refrained from speaking about the economy at any opportunity that he has. It's a clear case of running away from accountability. When was the last time you heard him speak to our forex rate? He has never spoken to it. The Bank of Ghana issues, the printing of monies, the low growth rate, the hyperinflation, nothing. He's running away from those things. And that tells me clearly that this is a man who is a coward when it comes to accountability. It's just like an old woman becoming uneasy. One writer said that old women become uneasy when there's a mention of dry bones. Once you mention accountability, Bawumia feels offended. And that is what we are going to put him through. Immediately after November 4th, he's going to be faced with accountability issues. He has to account for his stewardship, his competencies, his capabilities, what he told Ghanaians that he was capable of doing. Dr. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo informed the entire nation that he selected Dr. Bawumia as the running mate because he knew that he's the one who had the magic wand to turn our economy around. And so he is going to speak to it. We are not going to leave him to say that persons are attacking. If these are attacks, then you should expect more. What I expect him to do is to speak to the issues that they are raising. They are saying, for example, that you have not created a single factory in the north to employ even the delegates.
But he's not a businessman.
Not to talk.
It's not a prerequisite to be president.
He's not a businessman.
John Mahama was not a businessman.
Yes.
But he established the Bupe Share Nut factory.
What are you talking about?
John Mahama was not a businessman.
From his own pocket.
He established the Savannah Cement Factory.
So are you suggesting that the issue about setting up a factory has to do with his government?
It has to do with his government.
Okay.
And what he has to do, what he promised the people. He promised that every district...
There's no factory.
That is not true.
There's no factory that they have established in the north. Kennedy Japan said it. Those are the things that we expect Bawumia to speak to. Okay. If you have the opportunity, the man says that you have not created any factory. Speak to it. Mention the factories you have created. Yeah. Don't say that the man is insulting you. Okay. He's not. When he says that you lost the elections in 2022 because of the exchange rate, speak to it. Explain to the delegates. Like, look, these are the measures we have taken to make sure that the city stabilizes. Okay. So speak to the issues. Don't run away and look for sympathies as some people are.
Yes, it was.
Yesterday was your birthday.
It was.
And you didn't invite me to the
happy
party.
birthday.
You have to be modest with these things. The more birthdays that you celebrate.
We have a common platform that we meet. So
happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm growing.
Yes. You're what?
I'm reversing the age.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm told that today is also a birthday of
you grow old
my friend.
Good health.
Thank you. The Honorable Patrick Boama, MP for Kankwe Central. So he was also yesterday.
Yesterday, we shared the same birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday to him as well.
So belated happy birthday to you, the Honorable Patrick Boama. But today is, I just got an understanding today. It's a place that anytime you go on the Accra Kumasi Road, you drive past. Now I know where the name is coming from. Madam Belinda Doris Akofo. Today is your birthday, Madam Belinda Doris Akofo. And she's the CEO of Linda Door Restaurant and Hotel at Bonsu Junction and Kufrida. This is from Michael Akrofi and all her staff. So the Linda Door is actually from her name, Belinda Doris.
Belinda Doris.
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday to her.
Yeah, so today
she's done with that investment. Yes. is really serving.
And today is also the birthday of Nana Koto Brija Ekufu Adade III, who's the Nkoso of 100 Krapim near Kuma and so I'm sorry. So Nana Koto Brija Ekufu Adade III, Nkoso in 100 Krapim near and so on. Today is your birthday, happy birthday, and is popularly called Donald Trump. Happy birthday to you. Gentlemen, we need to go. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, GMG Trends.
Betway is your gateway to a theme park full of gaming excitement. A whirlpool of wonder where your favorite games come to life. Where you can take to the skies with max payouts that reach into the millions. All in the palm of your hand. Visit betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Bet responsibly. Betway. Bet your way.
Are you ready, amazing JGC ladies? The Edge Faculty and ACE1 presents Women in Strategic Leadership Retreat. Do you want to experience 3 days of intense, intimate, rejuvenating, and immersive learning with 3 ACE female leaders and our brilliant host speaker? Join us for this awesome experience in the area of leadership, strategy formulation, implementation, mentorship. Find out real-life challenges and experiences our women speakers overcame to get to the pinnacle of their careers, tackling responsibilities as wives, mothers, and career women. Date 25th to 29th September 2023. Venue Safari Valley Resort. Time 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. See you there.
Who wins the Ultimate Energy Personality of the Year at the 7th edition of your prestigious Ghana Energy Awards? Under the theme, Ghana's Energy Transition Framework, sector institutions as building block for the 2030 to 2040 target. You can nominate yourself or an institution for categories such as CEO of the Year, Energy Investment Impact Award, Energy Signature Award, Rising Star, Energy Reporter of the Year, and many more. Nominations open until 29th September. Visit www.GhanaEnergyAwards.com or www.graphic.com.gh. For enquiries and sponsorship, call 055-930-0631. Endorsement, validation, industry partners, media partners, Metro TV, Graphic News Plus. Ghana Energy Awards, 7 years of redefining excellence.
Yamawakwaba the Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. Ahadie e bano KSC ni ahwa kadia. Ubenya bibie biwaha. Ke bia ne ne haw ene ni ohia. Yenso ye wo ho anim defo a obeso anu yi amaw. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories ye dwumedie die. Eye 24/7 o. Ye siesie wo engine, wo brake, battery, yesesa wo tire. Se bano car wash dia. Ye wo abefun fidie bi ti se steamer ye de horo car engine abra nsuo nko engine nim. Ye san ye detailing metre se ye betwitwu car no mu ba bia amaw. Ye hwi a ya san polish wo car na maw kama. Enye we no munku ye san to car batteries, tires, rims, any de keke kan. Manadum Auto Fix and Accessories Emma wo car ensi ne dadem na enwu adwuma maw. Hwehwe ye chira kwan wo dansoma na sorry dan ho a ene KFC bon hwanimu e won kran. Se wo information anansem bi se bia 024-651-9369. Nadum Auto Fix and Accessories. So
my son, there's more blessing in giving than receiving. When you fear for you now, and couple the makers in
the pneumatological aberration of the Lord revealed unto me this night that me and my household should go out into the world and bless the world.
Makers Electronics Company Limited. Up to 67% discount. Our selected appliances.
This is what I call quintessential immaculatability.
The Makers Electronics Company Limited. Taifa Burkina Highway. Amasama Zongo Junction. At the K Pharmacy Dining. Or Yer Fateman Boga Junction. Ashaman Valco Flat. Kumasi. Ahinema Kokobing. Asafu Bwachi Hospital Junction. Number 9 Market.
And tell mom and dad about the Makers Blessing Attack program.
From 0552 222 253 and 0552 222 254. Terms and conditions apply.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Time to check out what is trending on social media with Desi, the star boy. Desi.
Look, good morning. Tomorrow is a holiday.
Yes.
21st September.
Yes.
What's the Julobi House? What? I've seen that on social media.
What's happening?
Occupied Julobi House.
What's happening?
Jubilee House, no, no.
They've changed it.
Look, what's Julobi?
Eh?
What is Julobi?
as a child of a thief.
Hey. Okay. Let me tell you what people are saying about the show this morning before we get to that particular one. Musa says that we have another Jesus Christ in Ghana who died and resurrected, sending and receiving money to Cecilia Dapa's account. A Bola minister who used $4.6 million to desalt Odo River when Ibrahim Mahama had desalted it for free of charge, and the NPP castigated him. Okay, so this one says that the EC led by Germans respectfully do not know what she's doing. She's just on a journey to satisfy the ego of her master and thereby not respecting the right to register all citizens. Okay, so those are some of the comments that have come in this morning with respect to the show on social media, on Twitter especially. And this one says that the NDC should stop complaining in our ears and also use what they have in Parliament. And Frederick Nikom says, I like the NDC guy's body language and his presentation, and a lot of good convincing points. Okay, so those are some of the comments from Facebook and also on Twitter. Now let's move on and talk about Cecilia Dapa, because yesterday a lot of things popped up on social media. I was hearing something like Nanaya out there. I don't know what that is or who that is, but that was also trending and lots of comments coming in about her. This one says that let me remind you that Cecilia Dapa owns 2 skincare companies via proxy, and she claims half of the $1 million found in her house was proceeds from her business in 2003. Receipts guy says that remember Cecilia Dapa, step out and demonstrate with us tomorrow. That's the Julobi thing I was talking about earlier. A very poor country, but our politicians are all filthy rich. Cecilia Dapa said get over $1 million for house. So imagine the rest, the big shots and all. How? Tomorrow be 21st. Show up and let your voice be heard. We deserve better. That's from Frank Doe. And the Abeku says from Namwan to Cecilia Dapa, back to Namwan again, and it's just Wednesday. Anyways, Nanaya Ode for president. Well, that is what people are saying. So tomorrow we'll see how that goes. I say occupy Julobi House. I'm sure it's the Jubilee House, but in the other term, Julobi as it has been put. Now let's talk about Accra Sports Stadium. This time it's not about football. It's about a music concert, right? So Shatawale released the flyer that was going to have his Freedom Wave concert together with Medical at the Accra Sports Stadium from 20th to 25th. And then Stonebwoy also released a flyer that he was going to have his Beam concert, the 5th edition homecoming, 5th Dimension homecoming edition, that is going to be on the 22nd of December at the Accra Sports Stadium also. Now yesterday, Shatawale did a live video on Facebook. Answered a number of things that, Stonebwoy is trying to sabotage his show because, he has put out a lineup of activities and he needs days to set up the whole place. But Stonebwoy has also gone for the 22nd, and that has been, some back and forth like that. And a lot of people are sharing the opinions that, so, and that is what I think also, that I was very happy that we saw both flyers out, that December was going to be amazing with these two. But as usual, we always have issues coming up with some of these things. And he alleges that, the president's daughter called the NSA that they should put Stonebwoy on and all of these things. So those are some of the comments on your screen as you see right now in respect to Shatawale, his live video that he did. And we'll be getting some answers from the NSA. That what exactly is the situation. Some say you talk pay. Whereas the contract that shows that, the stadium has been given to you and you put on a flyer, same for Stonebwoy, and Stonebwoy's team are saying that Shatawale rather went back and said that they shouldn't put Stonebwoy on at the stadium, and some back and forth, Charlie. At the end of the day, the football people too say that we'll support their pack. So we'll wait and see what the NSA will say about this particular one, Doc. Interesting times ahead. Two of our big artists, some are saying that international artists and you're fighting over Accra Sports Stadium and here. We need the event this Christmas season for us to have some fun. Of course, I've been saying that if you're part of the people that castigate our artists for not being able to play shows here and there, December is coming. They're bringing shows. Go and attend, and don't just sit on Twitter and be talking and saying a lot of things. So that's what happened yesterday on social media, and that's been trending. Shatawale, Stonebwoy, and also the Accra Sports Stadium trending on Twitter. We'll see what will be coming up in the next couple of days, Doc. So that's it for today. with respect to that. Yesterday, Osman Bukhari scored Champions League goal against City, but unfortunately he lost the game. That was a good one. You know, I said Chelsea, we just want to go on the side a little bit and allow some teams to play. You know, so we'll come back next year.
So there's a demonstration tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, tomorrow's holiday. Yeah.
Where?
It's at Occupy Julobi House.
So it's here in Accra.
So it should be here in Accra. The Julobi House, as they talk, I'm tired of a thief. Julo, J-U, Jubi. Julo. And then be Jubilee House. Oh, that one that they talk about, people like they will go to Jubilee House, but they change.
They won't be allowed.
They won't be allowed. Oh, so it can happen.
They won't be allowed there.
There. Oh, so maybe they'll get to 37.
No, I don't know where they're going to go to, but so the demonstration is tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning.
Yes, we had Oliver back on 101 with Bridget.
Okay.
He was talking about that, so we'll see that about
All
that tomorrow. Me, I'm waiting for the motorway one. That one I want to be on the motorway.
But then you must join them tomorrow, so they can also help you to do your motorway.
To do the motorway. Yeah. Okay, tomorrow we will not get holiday, so we'll come wait. So we'll go and join them.
Or you'll be there reporting like?
Yes, I'll be reporting and also demonstrating.
Okay. All right. Okay. So.
Why is Bumi laughing?
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're going to do that next week. So
it's next week.
Yes,
next weekend.
Yeah, next week we're coming to a crop on with Superb Lounge. Yeah, so we don't go work and just know.
Where is it? You don't go to work.
Hey, no, we don't go work.
Okay.
We are good. All right, up next, Metro Sports.
Good Morning Ghana is brought to you by